Welcome to Storytime today. In case you're new, my name is Miss Carla, and I'm so glad to see you guys today. We're going to be reading one of my favorite books today. I know I say that every week, but I have lots of favorites. But before we get started, we're going to sing our Storytime song. Are you guys ready? If you're new, you'll catch on. It's really simple, but the first thing we'll do is we'll clap and say hello. Then the next verse we will stomp and say hello. And then the last verse we wave and say hello. All right, are you guys ready? Awesome. We clap and say hello. We clap and say hello. With our friends at story time, we clap and say hello. We stomp and say hello. We stomp and say hello. With our friends at story time, we stomp and say hello. We wave and say hello. We wave and say hello. With our friends at story time, we wave and say hello. Hi friends, welcome to Storytime. Today we are reading a book by Dr. Seuss. It is called, the book is called The Sneetches and Other Stories. So this book actually has, I want to say 4 stories inside it, but for today we're just going to read The Sneetches. All right, so this is The Sneetches by Dr. Seuss. Now the star-bellied Sneetches had bellies with stars. The plain-bellied Sneetches had none upon theirs. Those stars weren't so big. They really were so small. You might think such a thing wouldn't matter at all. But because they had stars, all the star-bellied Sneetches would brag, "We're the best kind of Sneetch on the beaches." With their snoots in the air, they would sniff and they'd snort, "We'll have nothing to do with the plain-bellied sort." And whenever they met some, when they were out walking, they'd hike right past them without even talking. When the star-bellied children went to play ball, could the plain bellies get in the game? Not at all. You only could play if your belly had stars, and the plain-bellied children had none upon theirs. When the star-bellied Sneetches had Frankfurter roast, or picnics, or parties, or marshmallow toast, they never invited the plain-bellied Sneetches. They left them out cold in the dark of the beaches. They kept them away, never let them come near. And that's how they treated them year after year. Then one day, it seems, while the plain-bellied Sneetches were moping and doping along on the beaches, just sitting there wishing their bellies had stars, a stranger zipped up on the strangest of cars. "My friends," he announced in a voice clear and keen, "my name is Sylvester McMonkey McBean. And I've heard of your troubles, I've heard you're unhappy. But I can fix that, I'm the fix-it-up chappy. I've come here to help you, I have what you need. And my prices are low, and I work at great speed. And my work is 100% guaranteed." Then quickly, Sylvester McMonkey McBean put together a very peculiar machine. And he said, "You want stars like the star-bellied Sneetch? My friend, you can have them for $3 each. Just pay me your money and hop right aboard." And they clambered inside. Then the big machine roared, and it clonked, and it bonked, and it jerked, and it burped, and it bopped them about. But the thing really worked. When the plain-bellied Sneetches popped out, they had stars. They actually did. They had stars upon theirs. Oh, there they are. There's their stars. Then they yelled at the ones who had stars at the start, "We're exactly like you. You can't tell us apart. We're all just the same now, you snooty old smarties. And now we can go to your Frankfurter parties." "Good grief," groaned the ones who had stars at the first. "We're still the best Sneetches, and they are the worst. But now, how in the world will we know," they all frowned, "if which kind is what and other way around?" Then up came McBean with a very sly wink, and he said, "Things are not quite as bad as you think. So you don't know who's who? That's perfectly true. But come with me, friends. Do you know what I'll do? I'll make you again the best Sneetches on beaches, and all it will cost you is $10 eaches." Belly stars are no longer in style, said McBean. What you need is a trip through my star-off machine. So the wondrous contraption will take off your stars, so you won't look like Sneetches who have them on bars. And that handy machine, working very precisely, removes all the stars from their tummy quite nicely. Here they come out with no stars on their bellies. Then with the snoops in the air, they paraded about, and they opened their beaks and they let out a shout. We know who is who, now there isn't a doubt. The best kind of Sneetch are the Sneetches without. Then of course those with stars got frightfully mad. To be wearing a star now was frightfully bad. Then of course old Sylvester McMonkey McBean invited them into the star-off machine. Then of course, from then on, as you probably guessed, things really got into a horrible mess. All the rest of that day on those wild screaming beaches, the fix-it-up chappie kept fixing up Sneetches. Off again, on again, in again, out again. So the machine they raced round and round about again, changing their stars every minute or two. They kept paying money, they kept running through, until neither the plane nor the star bellies knew whether this one was that one, or that one was this one, or which one was what one, and what one was who one. Then, when every last cent of their money was spent, the fix-it-up chappie packed up and he went. And he laughed as he drove in his car up the beach. They will never learn. No, you can't teach a Sneetch. But McBean was quite wrong. I'm quite happy to say that the Sneetches got really quite smart on that day. The day they decided that Sneetches are Sneetches, and no kind of Sneetch is best on the beaches. That day, all the Sneetches forgot about stars, and whether they had one or not upon bars. That's the end of the Sneetches, and like I said, there are a few more stories in this book. This is The Sneetches by Dr. Seuss. I really like that book. It's a lot of fun. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming to Storytime today. We hope to see you soon. Next month is Black History Month, so we're going to have some really special guests for some of our Storytimes. I'm super excited about that. We're still getting people to sign up, so I'm not announcing the names yet, but we're going to have some awesome people coming to read and tell stories for Black History Month, so it's going to be really fun. All right, before Storytime's over, let's do our goodbye song. Are you guys ready? Awesome. Oh, it's time to say goodbye to our friends. Oh, it's time to say goodbye to our friends. Story time is done today. We have had a lot of fun. Oh, it's time to say goodbye to our friends. Bye, friends. See you soon.